witness testimony. Refuting the accusation. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that. If anything happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us knew the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? Other than the thud, we've not got anything, really. I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. Now, either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith, because they're working together. That's right, you see. You're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another. What? Eh? According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Huh. But I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Cross-examination? Refuting the accusation. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear on that. What about the driver?
Hold it!
So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck? Absolutely not. Dickon. No question about it. You said none at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin, talking with this man here. Is this true, Mr. McGilded? Dear me, my lord, at the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. It's an outright lie. About doubt you were engaged in. Let me stop you there, fellow, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? At all? It is all about evidence in the court these days, so it is. Do well to remember that. I saw you with my own eyes. This is going so well. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
Hold it!
Unless you're working together. And it was on the final run of the omnibus, past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of a lark? Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly. Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in the bitter cold. If you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you. And we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, it was a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. It is hardly surprising. Seeing things! Seeing things! I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. Ah, you. Don't take it personally now, lad. I'm a suspect in the case, then it is only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. Had no reason to kill the man.
Hold it!
So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before. Oh, Lume, I think. No, not once, never. He'd never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. First, have no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, why not? But you spoke about his hat, didn't you, at one point? To be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways can I put this? None of us have the remotest connection to the gentleman who are inside the cabin.
Excuse me!
Mr. McGilded? Yes, counsel? What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It has been too long, so it has. Eh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon? You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconsiderable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, you're an all-star. Is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? A sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another? Ah. And young Mr. First. Me, sir? Or do you want me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That top hat sliding about on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Oh, it is a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers. Such as Thrice-Fired Mason. Ah. There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence afore, my lord. This you mean? Can't help thinking that the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it seemed the brickmaker was a customer of yours. The sort of customer, I'd wager, you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. Ah! He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? He might have been through as well. Please don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? You could have opened it, because the lock is on the top. I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. Here's a lock right there, look. You see, it's shut fast now, just like it was on the night. It doesn't mean it can't have been opened at another point, mate. So it is, of course. And at the size of Mr. Mason could likely break through it. Still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand? Ah, now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shook myself with it, as it happens. Okay. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, so I went as red as a rouge. I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried. I was inside that cabin. There we go.
Excuse me!
Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade? It opens. Hmm? The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right? That's definitely from Sherlock. And them skylights open dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon? That's a lie, I tell you. Why, when I broke wind, You can't do it from the inside, you mug. Oh. Kind of skylight do you open from the outside, though? Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. I had a grey all. I had purses coming out my ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So what I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch, and jumped right through. What? Yeah, catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck? Bailiff. Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus once and verify the witness's claims. It's true. We know this. We've seen it. Dun dun dun. Ah! Oh, my hat. See? Orda, orda, orda. So it appears that the street girl's statement is quite right. I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo. This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. We already did that. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where is your proof? Alright then, so we said investigate ourselves. Let's go investigate then, because maybe we'll get more than from this as a result. So the skylight was fastened shut before, but now the catch has been undone, we should be able to open it. Okay. And? You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly, yeah? It's not good for us. It's fine for us. We're at a different point now, you guys should know this. Yes, let's go inside, let's go inside, let's go inside, let's go inside. Explain where the blood came from, surely. Ah, so that's where this blood has come from. That's blood, isn't it? There's something wrong. Oh, it's just, well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zykes has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Because the blood is from there. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like that, like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Kick him through. Why someone like me? Ah. What is it? Look, just here. Look at this. That's that question. It's blood. Why would there be a blood stain there? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? The scene of the crime, there is a bloodstain visible on the frame of the skylight when it's open. Details of the omnibus have been updated in the court record. Yes. Alright, so now I think we can actually throw that. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? Present the omnibus now, right?
Objection!
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. Oh, you can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, do it, I tell you, it's impossible. Irrefutable proof. Here in this courtroom. Counsel. My lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. Right, do I point there? Oh, it's closed, isn't it? Oh no. There we go, so it's gotta be that.
Got it!
Got it! By Jupiter! Is that blood? Ah. This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No. No. Order.
Hold it!
Hold it. But the blood could have sprayed up there when the victim... When the victim was... When the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. Like... That would mean the skylight would still have to be open, though. And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient. Ah. And let's keep in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But... There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? It is all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height right there, so it is. But that blood wasn't there before, was it? What? No. But it can't be. It's all lies.
Hold it!
My fellow jury members. I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it! Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing. On three then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
Of course. A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to here now, Mr. Lord Van Zykes? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? One extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least not until this trial began. But are you suggesting, Lord Van Zykes, that this stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes. While this court has been in session. The smoke bomb. What? What did she do? What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zykes. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What's that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Lord Van Zykes, this will not do to be sure. Will it now, counsel? What? Oh, no. What? I think it's fair to say this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But if you all cast your minds back, it's not true that the omnibus there has been in this courtroom the entire time. How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? Well, it's possible. It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session, apart from the smoke bomb. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you ask me, I think the smoke bomb could have been possible. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best I can. You gotta tell the truth, though. There was the smoke bomb. But still, it's as though there's something even more important at stake here. The truth. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh, good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Don't even mind. What's going on here? Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly. The recess that we were forced to take as a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Yep, that's the opportunity. What's going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. Hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The court was filled with smoke and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Oh yes, quite. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless gouge? Feckless gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. It is a wicked plot. It is a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zykes, no one is able to corroborate your claims. It's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say, we cannot establish with any certainty this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I have an inkling that he's not mentioned the blood on the floor, is he? Unless that connects to the skylight? My lord. Yes, counsel? There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it, so... What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'd better start watching your back.
Objection!
Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. No idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? It's gotta be this.
Got it!
Got it! We consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin. You would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus first was brought into the courtroom. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. And such. This trial is over. Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but it is all over now. But you're the defendant. It is over, I tell you. Memory, recollection. What people think they saw, it is all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there now. And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. It is true. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zykes. Well, my lord, I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zykes, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witness or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes. Which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Doesn't feel like it, does it? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please. He's guilty, I tell ya. Yes, my lord. The defense believes that we will find out in the next part. Ta-ta for now.